Alright, sorry. So Unemeka went back to school the following week, his enthusiasm dampened by his worries and concern about his academic performance. The result of the last semester had been released online, but he hadn't checked it until he got back to school. As he logged into the university's website, a sense of trepidation washed over him. He had been worried about his performance, and now he was about to face the reality. With a deep breath, he navigated to the result page and entered his details. His eyes scanned the screen, his heart sinking with each passing moment. And then he saw it. Three of his results were not found. Onyemeka sat on his bed, staring at his laptop in dismay as he scrolled through the university's website, checking his result for what felt like the 100th time. But no matter how many times he checked, the outcome was the same. Three of his results were missing, marked as not found. Onyemeka's face fell, and he felt a surge of anger and frustration. How could this be? He had worked hard, attended classes, and submitted all his assignments. He had even bought all the recommended textbooks and studied diligently. Without hesitation, he grabbed his bag and stormed out of his hostel room, determined to get answers. He marched to the faculty building, his anger growing with each step. As he arrived at the department, he was greeted by the familiar faces of his lecturer, but he was in no mood for small talks. He made his way to one of the lecturer's office, who doubled as his head of department, his heart racing with frustration as he presented his complaint. That means you didn't sit for the examination, the head of the department said with a casual shrug. I'm telling you, sir, I wrote the exams, I attended classes, I did all the assignment, but it's all showing not found, Nemeka said, his voice rising as he stood in front of the lecturer's desk. I'm afraid that's not possible. You can't sit for exam and test and your results are not in the system. All the results were computed on the system and uploaded online. So if yours is not there, it simply means you didn't do any of the above. The HOD, a middle-aged man with a stern expression, said, looking up from his notes, and Unemeka's face grew hotter. That's not true. I know I wrote the exam and I wrote all my tests. I got the books too. I can show you. He insisted, and the lecturer sighed, his expression unyielding. I'm afraid you need to leave my office now. He blurted out, and Omeyuka's anger boiled over, and he took a step forward, his fist clenched. The lecturer looked up at him, his eyes cold. You are not listening to me, Nemeka shouted, feeling a sense of desperation creeping, and the lecturer's expression hardened. He gestured towards the door. I think you had better leave now, young man, he said, and Nemeka's eyes burned with tears of frustration as he turned and walked out of the office. The lecturer's words ringing in his ears, he felt defeated, like he was hitting a brick wall. Back in his hostel room, he collapsed onto his bed, his phone still clenched in his hand. He had he didn't plan calling David's mom now, at least not for those three courses, but he knew he had to reach out to her now. With shaking hands, he searched out a contact and dialed a number, and as soon as she answered, he burst into tears. Hello? Professor Anita's warm voice came through the phone, but Onemeka couldn't respond. Tears streamed down his face, and he struggled to catch his breath. Who's on the line? Oh, sorry. So sorry. Who is on the line, please? Professor Anita asked, a tone concerned. Onemeka tried to speak, but the words got stuck in his throat. He took a deep breath, trying to compose himself, but the tears kept flowing. Ma'am, it's Unemeka Obiora, he stammered, feeling like a lost child. Unemeka, oh, how are you, my dear? What's wrong? Tell me, what's happening? Professor Anita's voice was gentle, sitting on the other end. He took another deep breath, trying to get the water, but it was no use. He was overwhelmed, and the tears just kept coming. It's my result again, he managed to say amidst tears, sobbing over the phone with convulsive gasps. Okay, calm down, dear. Professor Anita's voice was firm and reassuring. Despite the concern etched on her face. Where are you, Nemeka? She asked, a tone gentle but urgent, and he took a deep breath, trying to calm down. I'm in my hostel, ma'am. He managed to reply, his voice shaking slightly, and there was a pause on the other end of the line. And for a moment, Nemeka wondered if the connection had been lost. But then Professor Anita's voice came through again, a tone calm and authoritative. I was just about leaving the office for the day, but you should come over to my office now. Let's talk, she said. Her words were firm but not unkind, and Nemeka felt a sense of relief wash over him. He nodded, even though He knew she couldn't see him. Okay, ma'am, I'll come right away, he replied, trying to sound calmer. Then he left. There was a brief silence, and then the phone hung up. Nemeka stared at the laptop screen again, feeling a mix of emotion. He was grateful that Professor Anita had been available to talk to, but he was also anxious about what lay ahead. He took a deep breath, wiped his tears, and stood up. Feeling a sense of determination wash over him, he would go to Professor Anita's office and he would get some answers. Professor Anita was so pissed off on hearing Unemeka's complaint that she immediately scheduled the meeting for the next day with all the lecturers involved. She also made some other calls right there and instructed the people concerned to bring all the materials concerning the details of all the students who sat for the last examination in Unemeka's department. A anger evident in her voice. She was determined to get to the bottom of this, and she must. While reading this, something came to my mind. So I know you might be having questions like, but he prayed, he did all sorts of things and everything. So why is all of this still happening? There's something, so they used to say that when God wants to help you, God will not come down from heaven. He uses a man, he uses a vessel for us to help us. So this is part of the things I want us to consider and see also, that not that Unemeka's prayer is not answered, but then God is now trying to use Professor Anita to help him get to the bottom of this so that the reoccurrence would stop. This is also one of the reasons for mentorship, why God places an authority, an elder over you. Now, God might not come down, will not come down to give you instruction, but through your mentors that He has placed and told you to submit under, He passes the instructions through them to you. So you see, God has lot of vessels He uses for us. The thing is, have we made use of the vessel that He has made available for us? I think this is one of the question we need to ask ourselves for us to know and understand that truly you have been praying, God, do this, God, do this, but you don't know that God has actually answered that prayer by providing a channel for you. Now, God is the source. You just have to make use of the channel. So it goes through His channel, but we should be careful not to make the channels our source. So God has plenty vessels. Don't turn your vessels into the maker of vessels. All right, thank you very much. See you in the next episode. God bless you. Have a beautiful and great day. Bye bye.